we go.
What is up? What is up? Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's happening?
We here. Welcome
here.
to the Evolve.
Hey,
once again, we're ready. We got our movie theater.
We're here. We are here in the movies. Hey, we got
popcorn. Go back.
Some audience back there.
So
hey, how's she doing? She's got her mask.
Some,
Should we be wearing our mask?
I know.
Too? You told them they
can't eat popcorn with a mask on.
Right. So I guess that's why she's not on.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing? Well, we got some people here that's joining us too. Watching the movie.
And a lizard.
Yeah, lizard here. Yeah.
Dulop.
All right, let's get right into it.
All right, we got to jump into this because we don't have all day like we normally do.
Mm-hmm.
So I changed the setup a little bit. I apologize. This is actually the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence. Somehow, some way, I'm going to make those actually show up. But it's just work in progress. For
those are just left, we're at Libertarian Dave. Search it on YouTube. Libertarian Dave. You'll see we're in the studio. You'll see the video. You won't see the screen. So watch the stream from his channel. Libertarian Dave.
We actually have a couple things I want to try to get through. So we're going to go ahead and start off with this. And then let me know, anybody that's on, somebody just got on here. Let me know if the sound is okay. Because like I said, I changed the setup a little bit, trying to look more professional. Trying to look more Joe Rogan-ish.
Oh.
Because everybody's comparing me to Joe Rogan. Okay,
I've seen a public tweet.
There's one person comparing me to Joe Rogan.
It seems low, right?
Yeah.
An important part of our democracy. In Kingsbury Hall tonight, we have a small and socially distant audience, and we've taken extra precautions during this pandemic. Among other things, everyone in the audience is required to wear a face mask, and the candidates will be seated 12 feet apart. The audience is enthusiastic about their candidates, but they've agreed to express that enthusiasm only twice, at the end of the debate, and now when I introduce the candidates. Please welcome California Senator Kamala Harris and Vice President Mike Pence.
We're here for the show.
Wow.
On YouTube.
Is it YouTube that's low? Let me see.
Mm-hmm. On YouTube, type in Libertarian Dave. I'm at his studio on today. So if you type in his channel, you'll be able to see the video up on the green screen. So go to his channel. It's Libertarian Dave.
Senator Harris and Vice President Pence, thank you for being here. We're meeting as President Trump and the First Lady continue to undergo treatment in Washington after testing positive for COVID-19.
Jumping right into the COVID.
We send our thoughts and prayers to them for their rapid and complete recovery and for the recovery of everyone afflicted by the coronavirus. The two campaigns and the Commission on Presidential Debates have agreed to the ground rules.
Kamala Harris didn't have a look on her face. Let me see if I can get back to that real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, she didn't have that sympathetic look.
To answer without interruption by me or the other candidate. Then we'll take 6 minutes or so to discuss
interruptions.
At that point, although there will always be more to say, we'll move on to the next topic.
It's a shame that's the biggest controversy, interruptions in our presidential
But
debate.
Americans
It's not the economy or
deserve
immigration.
a discussion that is civil. These are tumultuous times, but we
trying to
can
set
and
the
will
stage.
have a respectful exchange
Oh.
about the big issues
There we go.
facing our nation. Let's begin with the ongoing pandemic that has cost our country so much.
I think we're more important.
Texas homeowners.
Really?
All the electric
CNN?
companies are
Oh,
raising
yeah.
their rates.
Ads.
CNN needs money.
Well, they put ads on it.
Senator
CNN.
Harris, the coronavirus is not under control. Over the past week, Johns Hopkins reports that 39 states have had more COVID cases over the past 7 days than in the week before. 9 states have set new records. Even if a vaccine is released soon, the next administration will face hard choices. What would a Biden administration do in January and February that a Trump administration wouldn't do? Would you impose new lockdowns for businesses and schools and hotspots?
It's a debate. First thing
A
I
federal
let them
mandate
talk.
to wear masks?
Right.
You have 2 minutes.
We ain't got all day, lady.
Without interruption.
Thank you, Susan.
2 minutes without
Well,
interruption.
the American people have witnessed
Pence is
what
up.
is the
There you
greatest
go.
I'm interrupting.
of any presidential administration in the history of our country. And here are the facts.
That's a watery eye.
210,000 dead people in our
You
country
got red
in
eye.
just the last several months. Over 7 million people who have contracted this disease. 1 in 5 businesses closed. We're looking at
Those
frontline workers
two
who have
separate
been treated
issues.
like sacrificial workers. We are looking at over 30 million people
This is all Trump's fault.
who in the last
This is
several
their big
months
hunter. This is
has filed for
CNN.
unemployment.
I know
And
why
here's the
they
thing.
gave her this question first.
On January
This is their
28th,
big thing.
the vice president and the president were informed about the nature of this pandemic. They were informed that it's lethal in consequence, that it is airborne, that it will affect young people, and that it would be contracted because
It wasn't airborne and it didn't affect young people.
And
Do they have any
knew
concept
what
of how
was
much stuff
happening,
comes
and they
across the
didn't
president's
tell
desk that he
you.
doesn't tell us about?
Can you
Thank God that he doesn't tell us
imagine
about
you
everything that
on
comes across his
January
desk.
Right.
28th, as opposed to March 13th, what they knew?
Can you
what
imagine if you
Ryan
shared
Johnson was
everything
Everything.
that came
They
across
knew and they
CE's desk with
covered
your
it up.
employees?
Yep.
The
No.
president said it was a
They quit.
hoax.
Oh yeah, for
They
sure.
minimized the seriousness of it. The president said, you're on one side of his ledger if you wear a mask, you're on the other side of his ledger if you don't. And in spite of all of that, today they still don't have a plan. They still don't have a
Oh,
plan.
don't
Joe
worry.
Biden
Oh well, you got to start
Our
on the
plan is
video.
about what we need to
Click
do
on
around
it.
We should do a counter on how many times they talk about what Trump says.
Yeah, CNN did a strong thing, gave her a softball here. This is their biggest thing. Democrats, they want this question. You know how he
the fact
failed.
is-
His
The-
how he,
but-
this is
But
their
the thing is,
hitter.
and I don't know if Pence
So
brings it
she's
up or
gotta
not,
go in
but
on them.
I was looking at because if you reference the pandemic that happened during Obama and Biden's administration, which was H1N1,
Mm-hmm.
if you cross-reference it and based off of statistically matching H1N1 with coronavirus, with,
Right.
as far as lethality and contagiousness and stuff like that, how quick Obama and Biden's death numbers proportionally would have been like 2 million
Oh,
based off of the actions that they took during that pandemic.
really
Yeah.
interesting.
Like,
If they handled it like
did
Trump
they
handled.
did they do anything during the H1N1 pandemic? I don't think they did.
No.
But
And look at his eyes. He's got
Okay.
red eyes and whatnot. Maybe he's got
a it's a
yeah. Looks
Yeah.
like he's got COVID, man.
right.
the national strategy for contact tracing, for testing, for administration of the
Lord, why does that give me
and making sure that it will
heebie-jeebies,
be
contact
free for
tracing?
all. That's
It's got-
the plan
it's got
that
conspiracy
Obama
theory
has
written
and that
all
I
over
have, knowing that we have to get a hold of what has been going on, and we need to save our country. And Joe Biden is the best leader to do that, and frankly, this administration has forfeited
Thank you,
their
Senator.
right to reelection based on this.
Thank you, Senator Harris.
Of
Vice President Pence,
Forfeited the
more
right
than
to re-election.
210,000
What in the world is
have died of COVID-19 since February. The U.S. death toll as a percentage of our population is higher than that of almost every other wealthy nation on earth. For instance, our death rate is 2.5 times that of Canada next door. You head the administration's coronavirus task force. Why is the U.S. death toll as
They
a
don't eat
percentage of
fast
our
food every day.
population higher
We're much
than that
larger
of
than
almost
Canada.
every other wealthy country? And you have 2 minutes to respond without.
No, not really.
Susan, thank you. And I want to thank the commission and the University of Utah for hosting this event. And Senator Harris, it's a privilege to be on the stage with you. And our nation's gone through a very
Wow.
challenging time this
Good.
year.
Respect.
That was very good.
But I want the American people to know that from the very first
It's a power
day,
move, though.
He's such a
President Donald
contrast.
Trump has put the health of America first.
Trump.
Before there were more than 5 cases in the United States, all people who had returned from China. President Donald Trump did what no other American president had ever done. And that was he suspended all travel from China, the second largest economy in the world.
He did.
Now,
The Democrats threw a
Joe
fit.
Biden opposed that decision. He said it was xenophobic and hysterical. But I can tell you, having led the White House Coronavirus Task Force, that decision alone by President Trump bought us invaluable time to stand up the greatest national mobilization since World War II. And
That's
I believe
true,
it
Chris.
saved
Obama
hundreds
didn't
of
shut down the
thousands of
economy.
American lives. Because with that time, we were able to reinvent testing. More than 115 million tests have been done today. We were able to see to the delivery of billions of supplies so our doctors and nurses had the resources and support they needed. And we began really before the month of February was ours to develop a vaccine and to develop medicines and therapeutics and saving lives all along the way. And under President Trump's leadership, Operation Warp Speed.
Sorry, guys.
Literally
I'm
tens of
sorry.
millions of doses.
Why does Operation Warp Speed scare the hell out of me too? Like warp speed this vaccine to people. No, I don't want it.
Like when President Trump and I and our task force.
Everybody okay? I'm sorry. I'm
Quite
sorry.
frankly.
Throwing his
when I look
audience
at their
around.
plan that talks about
I'm at Libertarian
Fancy
Dave. Y'all
testing,
should be looking at it over
creating
at his
PPE,
channel,
developing
so you can see the video.
it looks a little bit like plagiarism.
Libertarian
Something Joe Biden
Dave
knows a
on
little bit
YouTube.
about.
Search it up.
I think the American
Watch the
people know
stream
that
so you'll
this is the
see,
president who
not
has
see the
put
green.
America first, and the American people, I believe with my heart, can be
Thank you.
proud. of
So he didn't
sacrifices
answer the
they
question,
made
which is smart,
to save
Thank you.
countless
of
Americans.
why U.S. death toll. He just talked about what they did. So,
Absolutely.
and he's
Whatever
smart.
the
And
vice
it's a power
president
move. He won that,
administration
and
has done,
she
clearly
didn't press him
hasn't
on it.
worked. When you're looking at over 210,000 dead bodies in our country,
How was that
American
supposed to?
law
How were they supposed to
has been
stop
lost.
people from
And
dying from a virus?
that long.
You don't.
And you know,
It was flatten the curve. Remember, people?
Right.
God, this is stupid.
And knew on January 20th.
Like you're supposed to prevent people from dying from a virus. Like the president somehow can control that.
But they knew about it, and then when that was exposed.
Unless you put bags over everybody's heads.
Give everybody a bag.
That's about it, though. That's what the government would do is put a bag over your head to save you from a virus.
Yeah,
Of course, you'd suffocate to death too. But
Well, let's go back.
But at least you didn't die from coronavirus.
It's fully good for
I'm speaking.
I
I'm speaking.
Yeah, you
So
have 15 more
Oh,
seconds,
shoot.
and then we'll give the vice president a
Thank you.
chance.
So I want to ask the American people, how calm were you
She
when you were
got feisty, didn't
about where you're going to get your next roll of toilet paper? How calm were you when your kids were sent home from school and you didn't know when they could go back? How calm
Thank
were
you.
you when your children couldn't see your parents because you were afraid they could
That's a good
kill
point,
them?
JJ.
Let's give Vice President Pence a chance to
What
respond.
the hell does that have to do with Trump and Pence? Is that all they got is fear? Is that all the Democrats got is fear? That's it.
Mhm.
And in our prayers. But when you say what the American people have done over these last 8 months hasn't worked, that's a great disservice. The sacrifices the American people.
Andy
have
said
made.
Trump
The
2020.
reality, if I may finish that.
Don't interrupt.
The reality is Dr. Fauci
She
said
interrupted.
everything that he told the president in the Oval Office, the president told the American people. Now, President Trump, I will tell you, has boundless confidence in the American people, and he always spoke with confidence.
So why did he shut down the stinking economy?
When you
If he
say-
had boundless confidence in the American people.
But Dr. Fauci.
No, he's a frickin' dictator and authoritarian.
In the second week of March, they said if the president didn't take the unprecedented step of shutting down roughly half of the American economy, that we could lose 2.2 million Americans.
Mm.
And that's the reality.
Thank you.
They also
How did
said to us if we
how
did
did it
everything
help
right,
shutting
we
down
could
half the
still lose
economy?
more than 200,000 Americans.
The only way you're going to help is shut down every single thing, and then as soon as you open back up again, everybody gets sick again.
I believe
The
it's
government-
incredible.
Just pretending like the government needed to react to a virus is stupid and
Our
ridiculous.
neighbors first, our doctors, our nurses, our first.
Thank you, Vice
responders.
President Pence.
And I'm going to speak up on behalf of what the American people.
Vice President Pence, you were in the front row in a Rose Garden event 11 days ago at what seems to have been a super spreader event for senior.
Super spreaders, I like
administration
Super spreader event. That's
Super
funny.
soaker.
That's what it's
personnel.
called.
Mass, and now
See.
a cluster of coronavirus cases among.
A
those
super
there.
spreader event. Man,
You expected.
so that's what my summer camps are called.
Yeah, no kidding.
So it's super spreader.
So
Man, they
you
giving
pay
all the
attention-
Democrats all
Pay
the
attention
questions.
to that though, because it's key. It's what media.
Why is it pouching off? Oh, because this. It's not. When did that happen? Sorry, guys. All right.
Hey, so
Go ahead.
pay attention to that though, because those key little words like that. You were at a super spreader event, not at an event in the Rose Garden where the virus had taken hold. Something. No, not flattering at all, but exaggerating. You know what I mean? Like that. That's what the media does. Is they'll throw in words and stuff to twist your bias and to show this exaggeration one way or another. And if you pay attention, you start to pick up on the cues of it. You'll see which way the media, whatever media outlet or person is speaking, you can see which way they lean.
Yeah.
And they're professionals at. I mean, don't think it's not planned. They plan it. Like, this is where I need to plug in this word in order to put something in your head in order to get you to start thinking a certain way.
So
I wish I was good.
yeah, so
I have
so,
everybody on here voting Libertarian.
yeah, so far, they are all questions are directed, against
bashing Trump.
bashing Trump, the
Yeah.
Republicans. Now they're
So
talking.
let's see, do you think?
I mean, in a
I wonder if they'll
presidential,
challenge Kamala on her criminal justice,
yeah.
on her,
So right
on
now,
her locking up
everything
more
is Trump.
minorities than
So
any
it's
other single
Republican.
district attorney.
So his question, his last question,
How you gonna
he
interrupt
did-
me?
he didn't answer
Because I'm
right.
bashing your candidate, Kamala Harris.
Exactly. So that's what they gonna say. No. No, someone just said Trump 2020. I told you I had.
You got a lot of
someone
Trumpsters, man.
said that. So, all right, just to catch up, she just asked about because Trump spread it and he started the super spreader.
All
He
right,
had
super
that campaign.
spreader.
The administration's safety guidelines to protect themselves from COVID, when you at the White House have not been doing so.
Ooh.
Well, the American people have demonstrated over the last 8 months that when given the facts, they're willing to put the health of their families and their neighbors and people they don't even know first. President Trump and I have great confidence in the American
He's not going to
people
answer the question.
and
No,
their
it doesn't
ability
sound
He's
like-
not going to answer any of that.
That's a tough one.
and put it into practice. In the height of the epidemic, when we were losing a heartbreaking number of 2,500 Americans a day, we surged resources to New Jersey and New York, and New Orleans, and Detroit. We told the American people what needed to be done, and the American people made the sacrifices.
Is that like
When
2
the
days in a
outbreak in
row
the
or
Sun
something?
Belt happened this summer, again, Americans stepped forward. But the reality is the work of the President of the United States goes on. A vacancy on the Supreme Court of the United States has come upon us, and the President introduced Judge Amy Coney
Yes,
Barrett.
thank you, Vice
At
President.
that, if I may say, that Rose Garden event, there's been a great deal of speculation about it. My wife Karen and I were there and honored to be there.
That is slick. Because he he got all of his little stuff out, and then he's like, okay, now I'm going to answer your questions. Just give me a little bit more time. So he used all of his time to talk about nonsense that didn't matter, that wasn't answering the question. And then he's like, okay, now I'm going to answer your question.
No,
Give me extra time.
No, he did it even better. It's even slicker. It's something because I did when I first started college, I went to become a criminal defense attorney before so I did a lot of debates and a lot of different things. As far as we had a teen court room and we on campus, but this is what he just did, and that's the first part of what he did. But you put all that nonsense, and then if he's really good, and if she doesn't challenge him on it, because he wants to get off this subject. How can I expect Americans to follow if I'm not following? Now he's trying to go to the Supreme Court, which has nothing to do with that.
No.
So if
he was trying, but then she stopped him.
So-
and now he went back to her question.
let's see if he goes back or if he's going to
See
be
if he
able
tries
to
to
push
wiggle it back
it.
into
Because
the-
a good debater, if he's on good,
Many of the
you
people
push
who
it.
were at that event, Susan, actually were tested for coronavirus. And it was an outdoor event, which all of our scientists
she brought them
regularly
back.
routinely advise. The difference here is President Trump and I trust the American people to make choices in the best interest of their health. Joe Biden.
So he pretended like he was going to answer the question, and then he went back to his little
Not
plugs.
just
Look at
mandates with the coronavirus, but a government takeover of
He
health.
better than Trump, that's for
Thank
sure.
you.
Green New Deal, all
She's
government
gotta
control.
catch
We're
him
about
on that.
freedom and respecting
The
freedom.
moderator or she
Let's
is
talk
her
about
job.
respecting the American people. You respect the American people when you tell them the truth. You respect the American people when you have the
It's not
courage
the way.
to be a leader, speaking of those things that you may not want people to hear, but they need to hear so they can protect themselves. But this administration.
Why are you trying to
stood
Biden
on
talk to the
information
camera?
that If you
Pulling
had
something
as a
from Biden.
Right.
Trying to talk to the camera.
Right.
You didn't have enough money saved up, and now you're standing in a food line because of the ineptitude
No.
of the administration that was
Ineptitude.
unwilling to speak the truth to the American people. So let's talk about caring about the American people. The American people have had to sacrifice far too much because of the incompetence of this administration. It is asking too much of the people.
Susan, we talked
Yes.
about
It
this.
is asking
She's absolutely right, though. So you know what? We need her incompetence in there instead of their
That's
incompetence.
true. I
too
gotta.
much of the people.
She,
But if they would not be equipped with the information they need to
she's-
help themselves to protect
Susan,
their
the
parents
president-
and their
No, I'm sorry.
children.
Kamala Harris, Senator Harris, I mean, I'm sorry.
They don't say what they would have done better.
Senator Harris.
Yeah, he won. He's winning right now. That's what I'm saying. She didn't call him out. She's not very good at this.
That most of the people who can be vaccinated.
She fell for it.
Look at the look on her face.
But half of
This
Americans.
sympathetic look on her face.
He's happy. This is what Pence is winning right now.
If the Trump administration approves a vaccine.
Pence just looks like a calm professional. She looks like she's about to
Should
cry.
Americans take
He
it?
hasn't answered anything.
He hasn't.
If the
Really?
public health professionals, if
Of course, none of the questions have deserved an
the
answer.
doctors tell us
So
that
he's
we
done
should
the
be
best that he
responding.
could have with the questions that were
But
given
Donald
to him.
Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
Vice President.
Did she just say she's not taking a vaccine?
From this pandemic.
Is that what they
In
were
recent
talking about?
days,
Yeah,
the
go back to
president's
that.
diagnosis
we
of
at?
COVID-19 has
1434?
underscored the importance of the job that you hold.
If the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it, absolutely. But
Okay.
if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
Ooh!
Vice President, Pence, there have been a lot of
Wow.
references from this pandemic. In recent days,
Okay.
the president's diagnosis of COVID-19 has.
Somebody
underscored
scream
the
out, Pence
importance
didn't win.
of the
He's
job
winning
that
right
you
now from
hold
what I'm
in
seeing.
the
Biden 2020, you got a Biden watcher on there, man.
It's the role.
Tina
of
must
the
be a
vice president.
Biden too. She's like,
One of
Pence
you will
didn't
make
win.
history on January 20th. You will be the.
We haven't
vice
watched, so this is the
president
first time we're watching. You
Right?
haven't watched it, have you?
president
No, I
of the
haven't watched
United
it. I
States.
specifically didn't watch it.
Donald Trump will be 74 years old on Inauguration Day. Joe Biden will be 78 years old. That already has raised concerns among some voters, concerns that have been sharpened by President Trump's hospitalization in recent days. Vice President Pence, have you had a conversation or reached an agreement with President Trump about safeguards or procedures when it comes to the issue of presidential disability? And if not, do you think you should? You have 2 minutes without
We get through
interruption.
this thing.
Well, Susan, thank you, although I would like to go back.
I think we need to move on
Well,
to the
thank
issue
you,
of.
but I would like to go back because the reality is that we're going to have a vaccine, Senator, in record time, in unheard of time, in less than a year.
That's what scares the crap
We
out of
have
me.
5 companies in phase 3 clinical trial, and we're right now producing tens of millions of doses.
Phase 3 clinical trials.
So the fact that you continue to undermine
Let's
public
fast track
confidence
this
in a
vaccine.
if the vaccine emerges during the Trump administration, I think is unconscionable. And Senator, I just ask you, stop playing politics with people's lives.
Oh,
Is that we will have a
Really?
vaccine, we believe, before the end of this year. And it will have the capacity to save countless American lives and your continuous
We're
undermining.
taking countless American
of
lives. One or the other.
confidence
Depends on
in
what
the
you're more
vaccine.
scared of.
It's just
You more scared of the
unacceptable.
vaccine or the
Let me
virus?
also say, the
Old people are
reality
more
is we
scared of the
talk
virus than the
about
vaccine,
failure
so
in this administration.
they're going to take the vaccine.
We
Me
actually
personally?
do know what failure looks like.
I'm got confidence in this
It was 2000.
machine.
Okay, let me just say,
Machine.
speaking of vaccine, don't be surprised if the vaccine that comes out, Trump has like a stake in it or whatnot, and then all of a sudden we get reports that we actually used this experimental vaccine back when Trump had COVID, and yeah, I'm just
You don't give a vaccine to a sick person.
I'm
though.
just-
That would
I'm
just
just
make
saying-
them sick.
no experimental drug. Well,
There was this thing that was called hydroxychloroquine.
you get
That worked
experiment.
really good, but then all
I'm
of a
just
sudden it just
It may come out around about that time, vaccine time, that whatever it is, hey, we use this back on Trump, and Trump has. It could be.
I wonder if Trump did hydroxychloroquine.
The swine flu arrived in the United States.
Oh, he's good. Oh,
Thankfully,
H1N1.
it was
Oh, you saw it.
not being as lethal as the coronavirus. But before the end of the year, when Joe Biden was vice president of the United States, not 7.5 million people contracted the swine flu. 60 million Americans contracted.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
If the swine flu had been as
Really?
lethal as the coronavirus,
I didn't get that one
in
either.
2009,
Did you get that one?
when Joe Biden was vice president, we would have lost 2 million Americans.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
stat I was looking
Some
at. I was
chief
reading
of
about it.
staff on
Nice.
the plane
Wow, he got
would
it.
say last year that it was pure luck, that they did, quote, everything possible wrong. And we learned from that. They left the strategic national.
It wouldn't have made a
stockpile.
difference.
They
Doesn't
left,
matter.
empty
It's a
and hollow
virus.
plan, but we
People
still
get it.
learned from it. And
People
I
get
think
sick.
American people, I'm going to say again, can be
Vice
proud
President Pence, I'm sorry.
of
your
what
time
we
is
have
up.
done And Senator, please
Thank you, Vice
stop
President.
undermining confidence in a vaccine.
Senator Harris, let me
Oh,
ask-
that is a good point right there.
Too many Americans
Undermining
realize
confidence in the vaccine
that
and
lost,
policies
including
or
he
reached
got
an agreement
himself,
with Vice President
just
Biden
shows his
about
incompetence.
safeguards
I hear you, Carlos.
when it comes to the issue of presidential disability.
He's
And if
just saying
not,
that
and if you
president
win the election next
didn't
month,
handle it
do
pretty
you
good,
think you should?
and
You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
just
The
showed
fact that he did anything at all,
The day I got the call from Joe Biden, it was actually a Zoom call.
he did too much. They're saying he didn't do enough. What do you say?
It was probably one of the most memorable days of my life. I thought about my mother, who came to the United States at the age of 19, gave birth to me at the age of 25 at Kaiser Hospital in Oakland, California. And the thought that I'd be sitting here right now,
no one cares.
Is
That
it all
sounds bad.
Democrats have is emotion, right? They just go from one emotion to another. Like now she's trying to pull your heart.
Yeah, he's not hitting
I'm
it.
bored of an immigrant in
It's all right.
open
It's
California.
not hitting.
It was great.
I think most of the
day
people
my
that
life.
seen it said that they don't care. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I mean that's all they do though.
No
It's
one
all
cares.
fear to pity to sorrow to outrage. It's all these extreme emotions. Like I don't, and you see it all over social media too. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
can out like then Trump people were just like I don't know if they're just mean or what, but then they'll just like be like Trump 2020. Hey, we won. And it just like prodding them and try to get them all fired up
Yeah.
again, and then they go crazy with all their emotional stuff. Dude, I got to show you this Twitter feed. I got a Twitter fight I got with somebody.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
A
somebody
Trump
posted
supporter or
something
what?
about. Oh, actually, I think there's more Biden. Yeah, it's more Biden supporter.
Oh, okay.
More Democrats on there because they are like some guy just posted that. Hey, I just want to let you know that last election cycle I voted for Hillary, but this time I can't bring myself to vote for the Democrats, so I just sent in my mail-in ballot for Joe Jorgensen. Right, and he posted it to Spike Cohen's page,
Okay.
and they went crazy on him.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know where all they came from, but they were like, "Oh, you're the reason why this country is in the. You just voted for Trump. Why didn't you just vote for Trump?
Wow.
Because you voted for Joe. That's just another vote for Trump."
Mm.
When Trump says we're all Republicans.
They're all
So,
Republicans.
like every time we vote for Joe, it's taking votes away from him. That's what Trump
Mm.
says. So I'm confused. Will somebody please
Which
tell
one
me
is it?
when I vote for Joe Jorgensen, who am I really voting for? Because I could swear that I'm voting for Joe Jorgensen.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go.
No,
You got to go
Okay,
to
we're proud.
Libertarian
Let's keep
Dave.
looking down.
Search on YouTube. It's
You know what,
Libertarian.
let's take a break real quick.
Take a break.
Let's take a break.
Libertarian Dave there, guys. You won't see the green screen. You'll see the video. I'm over in his studio, so you won't see none of this. You'll actually see the video plan. Search Libertarian Dave. I'm on his podcast. So go ahead over there down and go ahead and subscribe because I'm there every Tuesday. That way you won't have to. You'll already be there. I'm here. And
that
oh,
means
it's Thursday today, but I'm there
we'll
every
also
Tuesday.
be in Orlando on the 14th.
So a question, is Waffle House an official sponsor of the tour? No,
No,
but
See what
they
you
have
guys are
not
saying.
given us a cease and desist
as of yet.
as of yet. Oh,
No one
good
will
luck.
either candidate or ask permission or anyone
See,
else.
Spike trying to copy us right here.
What topics I'll raise or what questions I'll ask. This 90-minute debate will be divided into 9 segments of about 10 minutes each. I'll begin a segment by.
That's
posing
Spike
a
Cohen.
question to each of you.
We should have just
Sometimes
watched
the
it
same
from here, huh?
Sometimes
We could
a
get
different
Spike's
question
input at
on
the same time. So
topic.
let's just fast
You will
forward.
have 2 minutes
Okay.
to answer without interruption by me or the other candidate. Then we'll take 6 minutes or so to discuss the issue. At that
Like his
point,
shirt.
although there will always
So,
be more to
You think
say,
you would have wore that to
Are
the
they
debate?
sitting so that they don't have to wear a mask?
we
Yes,
want a debate.
Okay.
that is
that was
honest,
part of the rules.
But Americans.
It was going to be
also-
sitting
you're too
as
loud.
opposed to standing
Way
because
loud.
of that.
Because when you stand, you have to wear a mask to
Right.
protect
But
you
we
from
can and
COVID.
will have a respectful exchange.
That's funny.
Let's begin with the ongoing pandemic that has cost our country.
Oh, you starting over?
No, we'll skip ahead.
Yeah. skip
Senator
that.
Harris, the
Oh well, I'll come
coronavirus
back and watch
has
this later, but let's skip ahead.
over the past
So we figure we're probably
few
about 30
months,
minutes into
47
this, so that's
39
21, so
states
let's
have had
go.
more COVID cases over the-
But here's the thing, Mike Pence will not flank her from a criminal justice standpoint. This is where I need it, because he won't do that. He'll say, you're a man, big liberal who doesn't care about law and order against the violent anarchist
Did we
forces
miss
of
on him?
Is that we will have a vaccine, we believe.
Okay, that's about where we're at, right?
Yes.
And it will have the capacity to save countless American lives, and your continuous undermining of confidence in a vaccine is just.
See, they're trying to
it's just
imitate us.
unacceptable.
Yeah.
That's
There you
ridiculous.
go.
I'm gonna message Spike and be like, Spike, you're stealing our format.
Within the next year
Of
from
course,
now.
that's cool. How'd they get in the middle? I bet you can move it if you pay for it.
Yeah, they got paid templates,
The
man.
swine flu arrived in the United States. Thankfully, it ended up not being as lethal as the coronavirus. But before the end of the year,
I don't see no
when
watermark.
Joe Biden was vice
No.
president of the United States, not 7.5 million people contracted the swine flu. 60 million Americans.
I don't remember 60 million people getting
That's
swine
a
flu.
lot.
If the swine flu had been as lethal as the coronavirus
That's a lot.
in 2009, when
What's
Joe
Spike
Biden was
doing?
vice president, we would have lost 2 million American lives. His own chief of staff, Ron Klain,
But
would say last year.
this is the weirdest flex I've ever seen ever before.
The
This
weirdest
would be
flex.
like saying Ebola came to America
Mm-hmm.
and it had a 50% death rate. If it had spread as much as this one had, half of Americans would be dead now. Like, what is that even? I'd be laughing too.
Right.
Everything. By the way, shout out to Lori Hughes for the 99-cent super chat donation on YouTube. Lori Hughes!
99 cents.
Really?
Trump did the same thing in the debate against Biden, where he brought up the swine flu and started talking. And I was like, this is the weirdest flex ever.
Like, it's just a really, really weird. Remember that time that virus that didn't kill a whole lot of people? It was actually like about as deadly as the cold.
I'm gonna stop my
it's actually less deadly
notifications
than
so
the
y'all
flu,
not hearing
the
that.
regular flu. Yeah, how about that, huh?
Right.
Asking me to serve with him on this ticket was probably one of the most memorable days of my life.
Oh, that's another question I would ask her is, do you still believe what you said last year when you said that you believe Joe Biden's accusers that he sexually assaulted them? And if so, is it that you don't believe that matters and that we should be actively electing sexual assaulters to the office of president, or were you lying? Or did some other evidence come to light?
I don't know. She's
that you
talking a
refused
lot.
to
He's
release to
talking a
public?
lot.
We
And I
should have
haven't
history
seen
too.
this. I think I like to hear what's going on.
Oh, shout out to Leonard Probasco, who has donated $5 on the YouTube super chat. Leonard Probasco!
They elected the first woman district attorney, San Francisco, where I created. my-
She given her bio. Did she ask for bios?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know the questions.
Woman of color and black woman to be elected attorney general of the state of California.
She's
where I
not
ran
really
the
black.
second largest department of justice
You're
in the
black.
United States.
We are aware of your time in the Department of Justice.
There I took on everything from transnational criminal organizations.
Stop interrupting, Spike.
Her bringing up her
Right? I can't.
past as a district attorney is like that opens the door for everything else.
It's incredible. But here's the thing. Mike Pence will not flank her from a criminal justice standpoint.
This is what I want to
This is
hear.
where I need it. Because he won't do that. He'll say, you're a mamby liberal who doesn't care about law and order against the violent anarchist forces of Antifa communism, or whatever he's gonna say.
But
He can't flank her from that. He can't bring up her criminal justice record because they are all about the police can never do anything wrong. Prosecutors can never do anything wrong. So I don't think it's gonna happen. By the way, shout out to Dave Davis and
Wasn't me.
Umana Broderick.
Wasn't me. So yeah,
Interesting.
so yeah, that's what Spike was doing. So this is on. If you go to Muddy Waters Media, I'll post the link real quick so you can see Spike's entire reply to it. We're not going to have time to go through it because we actually want to make our own commentary instead of listening to his commentary. And I need to.
Go to
Exit
Libertarian
this app
Dave
so
so
it
you
quits
won't see the
making
green
noise.
screen. You'll see the video and whatnot. I'm
You
actually
did.
over at his channel. It's Libertarian Dave.
So
I mean,
here we
his
go.
studio.
We are going to get back
Go over.
into it.
And I were
Watch.
raised in a very similar way. We were raised with values that are about hard work, about the value and the dignity of public service, and about the importance of fighting for the dignity of all people. And I think Joe asked me to serve with him because You know, I have a career that included being elected the first woman district attorney of San Francisco, where I created models of innovation for
Wish I could
law
hear it
enforcement in
somewhere.
terms of reform of the criminal justice system. I was elected the first woman of color and Black woman to be elected Attorney General of the state of California, where I ran the second largest Department of Justice in the United States, second only to the United States Department of Justice. And there I took on everything from transnational criminal organizations to the big banks that were taking advantage of
Everything
homeowners,
down to
for-profit
minorities
colleges
possessing
that
a
were
plant.
taking advantage
Yeah.
of veterans. And then, of course,
See,
now
now
I serve
this is
in the
where
United States
Republicans
Senate
can
as
get
only
on.
the
This
second
is
Black
this
woman
is
ever elected to
Biden
the
can hit
United
her
States
hard.
Senate. I serve on the Senate Intelligence.
Her mother was
Committee, where I've been
Indian.
in
Is
regular
Indians
receipt of
considered
classified
Black?
information
I
about
know.
threats to our nation. and
No,
how
man.
it's
She
out
says
around the
specifically
world.
Black
I've
and not
traveled the
African
world.
American
I've met
because she's
with our
actually
soldiers in
Indian.
war
Or actually,
zones.
her dad was Jamaican,
And
so
I think
Jamaicans
Joe
are
has asked
considered
me to
Black.
serve
Oh,
with
yeah.
him
I think her
because
was
he
her
knows
dad
Yeah,
Jamaican?
that
Am I
man,
messing this
Rasta
up?
boy, me
we
say.
share a
Am I
purpose,
messing
which
this
is
up?
about lifting up the American people. And after the
I don't
4
know why I
years
said
that we
that.
have seen of Donald Trump unifying our country around our common values and principles.
Thank you, Senator Harris. You know, neither President Trump nor Vice President Biden has released the sort of detailed health information that had become the modern norm until the 2016 election. And in recent days, President Trump's doctors have given misleading answers or refused to answer basic questions about his health. And my question to each of you in turn is this information voters deserve to know? Vice President Pence, would you like to go first?
Well, Susan, thank you.
That's like,
And let me say, on behalf of the president and the first lady, how moved we've all been by the
Okay.
outpouring of prayers and concern and for the president. And I do believe it's emblematic of the prayers and the concern that have ushered forth for every American impacted
sounds pretty good.
by the coronavirus. But the care the president received at Walter Reed Hospital, the White House doctors, was exceptional. And the transparency that they practiced all along the way will continue. The American people have a right to know about the health and well-being
I want
of
to
the
do an
president.
experiment though.
And we'll continue to do that.
They're not talking
I'm
about
just extremely
nothing.
grateful and was
What is it talking about?
more than a little moved.
Do we have the right
by
to
the
know
broad and bipartisan
the
support. And
medical
Senator, I want to thank you and Joe
Donald
Biden for
Trump's
your expressions
medical
of genuine concern.
information?
And I also
health?
want to
No, it's
you,
national security.
as I did on the historic.
And it doesn't matter.
This doesn't matter. This part doesn't matter.
I never expected to be on this stage 4 years ago, so I know the feeling. But the reality is, we've got an election.
All right,
before the
I hope this
American
doesn't blow
people in the
people's
midst of this
eardrums out,
challenging
so
year.
I'm gonna.
And the stakes have never been higher.
Thank
wanna
you,
see if
thank
this
you,
works
Vice
better.
President Pence. I want to give
When y'all say, all right,
I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. So I'm gonna stop sharing. So I'm gonna share it. Now I'm gonna share it with audio. Share audio and see how this works.
get some internal
Share
audio,
with
maybe.
audio. Be careful, Christian.
That's if you have a guess.
Including their voice. It won't happen if you share a Chrome tab, since you'll only share audio from that tab. Okay. So let's see how it sounds now. I'm listening to it on here so I can hear how it sounds.
Guys, go ahead. So you want to see the green screen? I'm at Libertarian
question, which
Dave.
is, do voters have a right to know?
I'm at
more detailed
Libertarian
health
Dave
information
Studio. So
about
if you want to go to
President
his channel and
especially
watch
about
this
President-
live stream at his channel right
especially
now, you won't see the green screen. I'm over
Absolutely.
there and
And
you'll
that's
see
why
the
Joe
video.
Biden has been so incredibly
Libertarian
transparent,
Dave.
certainly by contrast, the president has not. Both in terms of health records, but also let's look at taxes. We now know because of great investigative journalism that Donald Trump paid $750 in taxes. When I first heard about it, I literally said, "You mean $750,000?" And it was like,
Sounds the
no,
same.
$750. We now know Donald Trump owes and is in debt for $400 million. And just so everyone is clear, when we say in debt, it means you owe money to somebody. And it'd be really good to know who the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, owes money to, because the American people have a right to know what is influencing the President's decisions. And is he making those decisions on the best interest of the American people?
did do that last time. Yeah, I did. 'Cause I did that.
View?
That's a national security thing. I mean, when you go, if you have too much debt and you apply for a clearance, like a secret or top secret clearance, if you have too much debt, you don't qualify for for security clearance. So that could be a disqualifier from getting that security clearance. So, but I always wondered that, because when Hillary and Trump were going back and forth, I was like, okay, well, one of them has so much debt and stuff that he shouldn't qualify for a top secret clearance, and the other one can't protect their own emails and responsible for the death of 4 military people. So obviously this one wouldn't qualify for a security clearance. So is there a requirement to like a top secret clearance for the president of the United States to qualify for one? Because I don't think so. No, I don't think there is. I mean, because there's so many disqualifiers. You know what I mean? Obama wouldn't have qualified because he was part of an activist group when he was in college. So that would have disqualified him from top secret clearance. So it's interesting that the president of the United States, who has access to the most classified information our country could possibly obtain, doesn't need to qualify for a top secret clearance. But I did.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Or self-interest. So, Susan, I'm glad you asked about transparency because it has to be across the board. Joe has been incredibly transparent over many, many years. The one thing we all know about Joe, he puts it all out there. He is honest. He is forthright. But Donald Trump, on the other hand, has been about covering up everything.
Thank you, Senator Harris. I want to give you a chance to respond, Vice President.
Well, look, I respect the fact that Joe Biden spent 47 years in public life. I respect your public service as well.
Thank you.
The American people have a president who's a businessman, who's a job creator, who's paid tens of millions of dollars in taxes, payroll taxes, property taxes. He's created tens of thousands of American jobs. And the president said those public reports are not accurate. And the president's also released literally stacks of financial disclosures the American people can review just as the law allows. But the distinction here is that Joe Biden, 47 years in public service, compared to President Donald Trump, who brought all of that experience 4 years ago.
Thank you,
and
Vice President.
turned it.
Joe Jorgensen says, Joe Biden has been in public service. He's been an elected official for almost 20% of the time that the United States has been in existence. So if he is upset about any way that this country is governed or condition that it's in, why hasn't he fixed it in the past 47 years? Instead of just going with the flow and getting reelected.
Yep. That's what Trump said. Trump said that in a tweet. He said, what?
You've had 47 years to fix it. What have you done? And her, she's like Gestapo. She's scary because, have you seen her criminal justice record?
No, I haven't seen it. Just heard about it. And whatnot.
Yeah, she's not your friend.
Oh, yeah, I know.
This economy around by cutting taxes, rolling back regulation.
Thank you,
unleashing
Vice President.
energy, fighting for free and fair trade.
What about spending?
and all
Did you cut back spending when you cut back that revenue?
And-
Oh, no, we don't care.
That's a good segue into our third topic, which is about the economy. This has been another aspect of life for Americans that's been so affected by this coronavirus. We have a jobs crisis.
Jesus, we're still on
brewing. On
coronavirus.
Friday, we learned that the unemployment.
That's the one thing they got Trump on, I guess, right?
7.9%
Yep.
in September, but the job.
Now it's the
market's fallen,
economy
and that was
because he
before
shut down the
latest round of
economy,
layoffs and furloughs
which they
in the
say
airline industry at Disney and elsewhere.
did, but he didn't do
Hundreds
soon
of
enough, and he
thousands of
didn't do
discouraged
enough,
workers
and
have
now it's
stopped
worse,
looking for
but they would have done better
Nearly
by making
11
it worse.
million jobs that existed at the beginning of the year haven't been replaced. Those hardest hit include Latinos, Blacks, and women.
What is up with that?
Senator Harris,
Corona-
the Biden-Harris campaign has proposed new programs to boost the economy, and you would pay for that new spending by raising $4 trillion in taxes on wealthy individuals and corporations. Some economists warn that could curb entrepreneurial ventures that fuel growth and create jobs. Would raising taxes...
Man, you see how they're just handing her, almost giving her the answers and the argument. Like, here's the argument, here's your answers, just feed it back to me. Just give it back to me.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
She ain't doing much with it, though.
And it's all just bashing Trump.
Yeah, she ain't doing much with it. Pence is handling it really well, though.
At risk, and you have 2 minutes to answer uninterrupted.
On the issue
She
of
ends
the
everything with
economy, I think
uninterrupted.
there couldn't be a more fundamental difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Joe Biden believes you measure the health and the strength of America's economy based on the health and the strength of the American worker and the American family. On the other hand, you have Donald Trump, who measures the strength of the economy based on how rich people are doing, which is why he passed a tax bill benefiting the top
How did he
1%
ever say that?
and the biggest corporations of America, leading to a $2 trillion deficit that the American people are going to have to pay.
Boom, there's the deficit.
On day one, Joe Biden,
Raising taxes.
$2 trillion deficit that the American people are going to. She called it out. She called the deficit out because it is. But who are the spenders? The Democrats are the spenders. So she doesn't talk about the deficits and debt that they're going to create with all of their social programs and stuff. You know, she's calling out. I mean, it's like, you know, when you're pointing a finger at one, 3 fingers pointing back at you. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Both
will
parties got to
repeal
tread
that
lightly.
tax bill.
No, can't talk about that deficit, debt,
And what
or
he'll do with
spending.
the money is invested in the American people. And
Invest
a
it
plan that is about investing in infrastructure, something
Means
that
we're gonna-
Donald Trump
we're
said
gonna
he would
spend
do.
it
I
where we
remember
want
hearing
to.
about some infrastructure week. I don't think it ever happened. But Joe Biden will do that. He'll invest in infrastructure. It's about upgrading our roads. and
Invest.
bridges, but also
He's going to spend your
investing
money
in
on
clean
building
energy,
roads.
Renewable energy. Joe is going
Get it
to
right,
invest
man.
that
Yeah.
money in what we need to do around
Invest.
innovation.
Y'all
There was
don't.
a time when
Y'all don't invest. You spend our money. That's what you do. Or now you're spending our great grandkids' money because that's how long it's going to take to pay off the nation's debt.
our country believed in science and invested in research and development so that we were an innovation leader on the globe. Joe Biden will use that money to invest in education. So for
Invest
example,
again.
for folks who want to go to a 2-year community college, it will be free. If you come from a family that makes less than $125,000, you'll go
What if I don't want to go to a community college? Could I keep my tax money that you're going to take to pay for somebody else to go to community college?
to a public university for free. And across
For
the
free.
board, we'll
It's
make
free
sure
stuff.
that if you have student
Tan
loan debt,
Staffel.
it's cut by
There's no such thing as a free
$10,000.
lunch.
That's how Joe Biden
Pulling
thinks
them
about
in.
the economy, which is it's about investing in the people of our country as opposed to passing a tax bill, which had the benefit of letting American corporations go offshore to do their business.
Thank you,
You're
Senator Harris. Vice President Pence, your administration has been predicting a rapid and robust recovery.
There
The latest
ain't
economic
no
report
such
says
thing
that's not
as
true.
a free lunch.
Should Americans be braced for an economic comeback that is going to take not months, but a year or more? You have 2 minutes to answer uninterrupted.
When President Trump and I took office, America had gone through the slowest economic recovery since the Great Depression. When Joe Biden was vice president, they tried to tax and spend and regulate and fail our way back to a booming economy. President Trump cut taxes across the board. Despite what Senator Harris says, the average American family of 4 had $2,000 in savings and taxes. And with the rise in wages that occurred, most predominantly for blue-collar, hardworking Americans, the average household income for a family of 4 increased by $4,000 following President Trump's tax cuts. But America, you just heard Senator Harris tell you, on day.
That's because more people went to work. Because he's talking about the average, but when you get people off of unemployment or off of minimum wage, because you cut taxes and regulation on corporations and the rich people. So what they're able to do is pay for more employees to work and to pay those employees more. So, I mean, it works. I mean, cutting taxes and cutting regulation works to stimulate the economy, and it even helps the middle class and lower, especially the lower income people, because it makes more jobs. It's a great idea. But, I mean, it works even better if you cut taxes on the middle class. How about if we just get rid of taxes? Or how about if we just do a flat tax, say 4% or 5%, or whatever it takes to run the country, and then we cap it and we say it'll never go higher than this. The only way the government gets more money is to cut spending in other areas or to increase the income of the entire nation. So if you had a 5% tax across the board, so simple to do your taxes, just 5% tax, right? So no loopholes, no nothing. That's just what you pay. Then If the government needed more money, they can't go above that 5%. So they have to cut spending somewhere or stimulate the economy to grow more so that 5% equals more money.
Let's say 4%. Let's not quote.
Oh no! Believe it or not, if we were to actually go to a flat tax right now, you know what it would have to be to run the government.
Let's not get 5%.
To really. So there was no deficit. So it was to actually pay for the government. Do you know what the tax would have to be?
What
would have to be? Now this is estimated, right?
Mm-hmm.
But somewhere between 16 and 28%.
Oh wow!
Somewhere the flat tax would have to be somewhere between that. 16% of everybody in the country's income, which isn't bad considering most of us pay like 35%. Because
wait till you get
A1.
Joe
Biden's going to raise your taxes.
Snarky comments.
It's really remarkable.
oh, she gets snarky.
I mean, after
Gotta go. We got like
a
30
time where
minutes.
we're going through a pandemic that lost 22 million jobs at the height.
She thinks this
We've
crap's
already
funny,
added
man.
back
I'm not laughing.
1.6 million jobs because we had a president who cut taxes, rolled back regulation, unleashed American energy, fought for free and fair trade, and secured $4 trillion from the Congress of the United States to give direct payments to families, save 50 million jobs through the Paycheck Protection Program. We literally have spared no expense to help the American people and the American worker through this. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris want to raise taxes. They want to bury our economy under a $2 trillion Green New Deal, which you were one of the original co-sponsors of in the United States Senate.
Things
You
like
want to
28,
abolish
29
fossil
trillion
fuels
dollars to do the
and
Green
ban
New Deal.
fracking,
2
which
trillion.
will cost hundreds of
It's giving them a
thousands of
bone,
American
man.
jobs all across the heartland.
Green New Deal.
And Joe Biden wants to go back to the economic surrender to China, that when we took office, half of our international trade deficit was with China alone. And Joe Biden wants to repeal all of the tariffs that President Trump put into effect to fight for American jobs and American workers. Joe Biden says democracy's on the ballot. Make no mistake about it, Susan. The American economy, the American comeback is on the ballot with 4 more years of growth
Thank you.
and opportunity, and 4 more years of President Donald Trump. 2021
Thank
is
you,
going
Vice
to be the
President.
biggest economic year in the history of this country.
Thank you, Vice President Pence. Senator Harris.
Well, I mean, I thought we saw enough of it in last week's debate, but I think this is supposed to be a debate based on fact and truth. And the truth and the fact is, Joe Biden has been very clear. He will not raise taxes on anybody who makes less than $400,000
He said
a
he's going to
year.
repeal the Trump tax cut.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
He's right.
I'm
He
speaking.
said that last
He
week.
said the truth.
Yeah, he actually said
Joe
that.
Biden said twice in the debate last week that he's
Yeah,
going to repeal the
He
Trump
said
tax
that
cuts.
last week.
That was
She didn't
tax
get
cuts that gave the average working family
I actually heard him say
$2,000 in
that.
a tax break every single year.
That
Senator,
is
that's the math.
absolutely not true.
It's
That's
true.
not
He said it.
Is he only going to repeal part of the Trump tax?
Woo!
If you don't mind letting me finish, we can then have a conversation, okay?
Please.
He
Okay.
said it. Shit.
Joe Biden will not raise taxes on anyone who makes less than $400,000 a year. He has been very clear about that. Joe Biden will not end fracking. He has been very clear about that. Joe Biden.
She tried to give him an opportunity
during
to
the
interrupt her.
session was responsible for the Recovery Act that brought America back. And now the Trump-Pence administration wants to take credit.
the massive $1 billion bailouts to GM and the banks and crap. Like who in turn just gave the money to their CEOs so they can go to like $1 billion vacations and stuff.
Well, maybe you can help me because I legitimately don't understand this. I'm not being funny, or maybe if any one of the viewers know, but every time there is a bailout, like maybe I don't travel well enough or something I'm missing, but every time there's a bailout, a handout, or a relief, airlines is in it. All throughout history, they always in it for billions.
Well, because
no matter what,
because when the economy takes
airlines always
because when the economy goes to crap, nobody travels anymore. Nobody will pay for flights and stuff, or very little. People start cutting back on flights. It starts to become economically less feasible to fly places. People won't go on vacations. People won't fly places like that. Even business travel, which is the majority of airlines, is business travel. But business travel will stop. They'll just do it online instead. So all that money, the airlines take big hits. So they need to be bailed out.
Yeah, so So we need to have an airline. They need to be
No, absolutely
Why?
not. They don't need to be bailed
They're
out. They need to
always-
manage their. I don't understand why an
Every-
airline needs to be bailed out if they're not bringing. If they don't have people flying,
every time.
if they don't have people flying, then why are they still running planes?
Who cares? Okay, what? There's other companies.
Raise your prices.
There's other companies that pandemic, like it just leads. Maybe someone ain't doing something right. Like every bailout, every relief package, airlines, and I never understood why we have to bail them. They have to.
When
They're
they
at the top of the
when they
line.
rode the coattails
I don't
of
get
Joe
that.
Biden's success.
Why do we have to bail out
or the
anybody?
economy that they had
Just
at the
why are
beginning
you
of their
just
term.
picking on
Not
airlines like you did with
No.
PBS? What about everybody else that gets bailed out?
They get-
The auto agent, the auto industry, the banks, all the why did they have to get bailed out too?
Banks is a little bit more.
No, it's absolutely
understandable.
not. No,
But
no.
airlines is completely not understandable.
None of them is
was
understandable.
responsible with President Barack Obama for the Affordable Care Act, which brought health care to over 20 million Americans and protected
Oh, you
people.
gotta
And
go
quadrupled the price for the other 310.
You gotta go
Saved
in on
those
this.
families who otherwise were going bankrupt because of hospital bills they could not
320
afford.
million, I mean.
On the other hand, you have Donald Trump, who's in court right now, trying to get rid of,
Thank you, Senator.
trying to get rid of,
Gave you
the
gave-
Affordable
talk
Care
about
which means
Obamacare.
that you will lose protections if you have pre-existing conditions. And this is very important, Susan.
Yes,
And it's
but we need to give Vice President.
I just like, he interrupted me, and I'd like to just finish,
Oh.
please.
Oh,
If you have a pre-existing condition, heart disease, diabetes, breast cancer, they're coming for you. If you love someone who has a
She's looking in the
pre-existing
camera,
condition,
too.
She's trying to scare you people.
if you are
Trying to scare you.
26 on your
They're coming for you.
coverage, they're coming for you.
Senator Harris, thank you. Let me give you a chance to respond.
Well, I hope
If
we have
you got a
chance to talk
beard,
about healthcare because Obamacare
they're
was
coming
a
for you.
disaster. You know,
oh, there you go. I knew you hit Obamacare. Hit him.
President Trump and I have a plan
I didn't know.
to improve healthcare and to protect pre-existing conditions for every American. But look, Senator Harris, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. You yourself said on multiple occasions
Oh, what did
when
he
you were
say?
running for president.
You're not entitled to your
you
own
banned
facts.
fracking.
Right.
Joe Biden looked a supporter in the eye and pointed and said, I guarantee that we will abolish fossil fuels. They have a $2 trillion version of the Green New Deal, Susan, that your newspaper,
Well, it's a
USA
different
Today,
version,
said
so maybe it's
really
cheaper.
wasn't that very different from the original.
They're going to
Green
ban
New Deal.
fossil fuels? That's a
More
good idea.
taxes,
I'd
more
rather just we
regulation,
evolve out of,
banning fracking, abolishing fossil fuels.
you know, I'd rather the
crushing
government
American
not take charge of,
and economic
you know, our social
is a
evolution.
prescription for economic decline. President Trump and I will keep America growing. The V-shaped recovery that's underway right now will continue with 4 more years of President
Airlines
Donald
employ a
Trump.
lot of
Thank you
people.
very
It's about
much,
saving
Vice
jobs,
President.
not
And once
the
again, you've
airlines.
provided a
Okay,
perfect
Sam.
segue to a new
That
topic,
gives me a
which is
little bit.
climate change.
Sam has something.
It's not government's job. It's not,
Oh, you heard it.
government don't save jobs.
He said because
Government isn't responsible for bailing out corporations. If the corporations haven't managed their money well enough to maintain
Do they
themselves
have a
through a
lot?
downturn in the economy, they deserve to go bankrupt, and then somebody else will come in and take up the slack. They'll get bought out.
Do they have a lot of employees? Like tons and tons of employees
I'm
that
sure they do.
that we would crash the economy.
Sure.
A lot of
No,
if
no.
I mean,
If you think is you know, we're almost 20% unemployment rate right now. Do you think the airline industry would crash the economy if that hasn't?
because they're employees.
They aren't employing 20% of the economy right now, or 20% of the
Air
workers.
marshals, they got the people that fill
the air marshals are paid for by the government. They don't even belong to the airlines.
People that fill the gas.
They don't get paid by the airlines either.
The attendants.
It's
I'm
like
trying
the
to see
pilots, the mechanics.
the pilots, the mechanics.
Yeah, I think the mechanics are on
The
payroll.
administration,
The
who
the
does
stewardesses.
routes, and the guy that.
Yes, yeah. No, the airline dispatchers are somebody else too.
Wait,
The
who are these
dispatchers
people?
and the
Airlines. I'm trying to
dispatchers
see.
So the airlines are just the airlines. You're talking
Right.
about the airport. The airport officials are different. You know what I
Airlines
mean?
Employ a lot of people. It's about saving jobs, not the airlines.
Saving jobs. Because it's the government responsibility to
buying
save
that.
jobs.
They get billions
Hey,
and billions.
Are they going to
billions
save the job?
every
When CE goes
Right.
on, are they going to save your job?
All right. There's other
You know what I
companies
mean?
that would be essential that I'm sure hire a lot more people than the airlines. They're probably more essential.
Too big to fail? There's no such thing.
That's insane.
There's no such
I
thing.
don't understand it.
CE's not too big to fail.
I still don't understand.
Should be. Y'all should
Why?
be. But you got a plan. Though.
I got a plan.
I
I don't understand. What's up with these airlines?
President Pence, I'd like to pose the first question.
I'm waiting for her to get snarky.
This year, we've seen record-setting hurricanes in the south. Another one, Hurricane Delta, is now.
Is that Trump's fault now too?
And we've seen record-setting
Why?
wildfires in the
No one
west.
cares.
Do you believe, as the scientific community has concluded, that man-made climate change has made wildfires bigger
Oh, it's climate change.
and have made hurricanes wetter?
Wow.
This is not a thing for
and
this
more
election.
damaging? You have 2 minutes.
It is now.
Thank you, Susan.
You know, this is
is
another softball for Democrats, right? Because that's the one that Democrats always grab
This
because
is not a
Republicans will
thing.
just destroy. Don't care about the environment.
The elected president is going to be three main issues this time: economy, injustice, and
Corona.
Yeah, Corona. you know, yeah, how you plan to deal with? Yeah, that's the whole thing. So I don't know why this.
Well, first, I'm very proud of our record on the environment and
Think
on
of all the
conservation.
employees that work at the
According to all of the best estimates, our air and land are cleaner than any time ever recorded. Our water is among the cleanest in the world. And just a little while ago, the president signed the Outdoors Act, the largest investment in our public
This
lands
is
and
what it
public
sounded like,
parks
JJ.
in 100 years.
Google it.
So
Here we go with
President
investing
Trump has
again.
made a commitment to conservation for the environment.
I'm glad to see that they're investing my money places I didn't
The
give
climate
permission
is
to.
changing. The issue is,
We'll
what's
get
the
back to that,
cause?
Sam.
and what do we do about it? President Trump has made it clear that we're going to continue to listen to the science. Now, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris would put us back in the Paris Climate Accord. They'd impose the Green New Deal, which would crush American energy, would increase the energy costs of American families in their homes, and literally would crush American jobs. And President Trump and I believe that the progress that we have made in a cleaner environment has been happening
He's doing
precisely.
good. I'm sorry, but
because we
Pence is
have
doing
I
good.
think he's
free
winning.
market economy.
He's
You know, what's
winning.
remarkable is the United States has reduced CO2 more than the countries that are still in the Paris Climate Accord, but we've done it through innovation.
What's funny is when it comes to the environment is nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
But government is the biggest polluter in the world. It is world governments that are the biggest polluters. So it's like the wolf guarding the hen house, right? It's like you're telling them you need to fix the environment. They're not going to regulate themselves. You know?
I'm voting for either one, but
And we've done it through
Pence is
natural
winning.
gas
You think so?
and fracking,
Yeah.
which, Senator, the American people can go look at the record. I know Joe Biden says otherwise now, as you do, but the both of you repeatedly committed to abolishing fossil fuel and banning of fracking. And so by creating the kind of American innovation, we're actually steering toward a stronger and better environment.
I'm surprised they even
Wildfires,
came out and said that they were going to ban
President Trump and I
fracking.
believe
That's been a big
enforced
Democrat thing ever
management
since Trump's been in
has to be
office.
strong.
Is that
Governor
fracking
Gavin
is
Newsom from
causing
your state has agreed. We've got to work with
earthquakes
management.
and going to kill everybody,
With
and
regard to
everything's
hurricanes,
going to kill everybody according to Democrats.
National Oceanic.
You gotta give government
Administration
all the
tells us
permissions
actually it's
because
different
Thank you.
otherwise-
Thank you, Vice President.
There are no more hurricanes today than
Thank
there were 100 years ago.
Thank you.
But many of the climate alarmists
Vice President,
use
I'm sorry.
hurricanes
No more,
and
but are they more
wildfire
severe?
to try and
Thank
sell
you,
the
Vice
bill of
President.
goods of a Green New Deal. And President Trump and I are going to always put
Thank you,
American
Vice
jobs and
President.
American workers first.
Senator Harris, as the Vice
America
President
first.
mentioned, you co-sponsored
America.
the Green New Deal in Congress. But Vice President Biden said in last week's debate that he does not support the Green New Deal.
Oh!
But if you look at the Biden-Harris campaign website, it describes the Green New Deal as a crucial framework.
Ooh.
What exactly would be the stance of a Biden-Harris administration toward the Green New Deal? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Sure. So first of all, I will repeat, and the American people know, that Joe Biden will not ban fracking. That is a fact. That is a fact. I
You must
will
need the Midwest
repeat
votes, man.
that Joe Biden
Texas.
has been very clear.
They're after Texas.
that he thinks
That's why they're talking about not
that
banning fracking, because they're after
that he will
Texas,
not
man.
increase taxes for anyone who makes less than $400,000 a year. Joe Biden's economic plan, Moody's, which is a reputable Wall Street firm, has said will create 7 million more jobs than Donald Trump.
Talk about the Green New
And
Deal.
part of those jobs that will be created by Joe
Your
Biden
website
are going to be
You know, you
about
can't
clean
create
energy
jobs
renewable
and then
energy.
cancel
Because
jobs
you see, Joe understands.
and call it
that
a
the
game.
West
You know what I
coast of
mean?
our
If you
country is
lose
burdened,
20 million
including my
jobs
home state of
and you've
California.
added 7 million
Joe
jobs,
sees
you
what
didn't
is happening
increase 7
on
million
those
jobs. You're
states.
actually
They're
net
being
13
battered
million
by
in the hole.
storms. Joe
You know what I
has
mean?
seen and talked with.
It's like we got 20% unemployment rate, right? So Donald Trump does something,
And so Joe believes,
decreases
again,
unemployment by 3%. The employment rate of the United States is up by 3% this week. You're still down 17% from the
Took the
pandemic.
word science off the website.
That's how they twist some statistics.
And then took the phrase climate change off the website.
Well,
This,
she
we have
dodged
seen
the
a pattern
question
with this
where they
administration,
were
which is
being
they don't believe
hypocritical.
in
She
science.
dodged it good.
And Joe's plan is about saying we're gonna deal with it, but
She
we're
She
also
did the
gonna
thing,
do
yeah.
jobs. Donald Trump, when asked about the wildfires in California,
Just
and
dodging
the question was,
questions.
the science is telling us this, you know what Donald
Commentator
Trump
ain't hitting
said?
them on it neither.
Science doesn't know. So let's talk about who is prepared to lead our country over the course of the next 4 years on what is an existential threat to us as human beings. Joe is about saying we're going to invest that in renewable energy.
It's all
which
fear,
will
man.
allow the creation
More
of millions
fear.
of jobs. We will
More fear.
achieve
So
net zero emissions by
Y'all need to be
2050,
scared.
not gonna ask
carbon
about the
neutral
Green
by
New Deal?
2035. Joe has a plan. This has been a lot of talk from the Trump administration, and really it has been to go backward instead of forward. We will also re-enter the climate agreement with pride.
Senator Harris just said that
Oh,
climate change
she
is
got
an
off of that.
existential threat.
She won.
Vice President
That
Pence,
was
do
a
you
big
believe that
thing.
climate change
He was
poses an
hypocritical. He was saying
existential
one
threat?
thing and the website was saying the other. I was hoping.
As I said, Susan, the climate is changing. We'll follow the science. But once again, Senator Harris is denying the fact that they're going to raise taxes on every American. Joe Biden said twice in the debate last week that on day one, he was going to repeal the
You already
tax
said that. We
cuts.
got that.
Those tax cuts
Mike?
delivered $2,000 in tax relief to the average family of four across America. And with regard to banning fracking, I just recommend that people look at the record. You yourself said repeatedly that you would ban fracking. You were the first Senate co-sponsor of the Green New Deal. And while Joe Biden denied the Green New Deal, Susan, thank you for pointing out, the Green New Deal is on their campaign website.
That's what I'm saying. She
And
didn't
as
answer.
USA Today said, it's essentially the same plan as you co-sponsored with AOC when she submitted it in the Senate. And you just heard the senator say that she's going to resubmit
Yes,
America
I
to the
know.
Paris Climate Accord. Look,
But they got him
American
playing on
people
their
have
court.
always cherish.
They're not
our
talking
environment.
about,
We'll
well, they can't
continue
talk
to
about gun
cherish.
control
We've
because
made great
Republicans
progress
and Democrats both want to
reducing
take your guns
CO2
now.
emissions
So
through American
that's true.
innovation and the development of natural gas through fracking. We don't need a massive $2 trillion Green New Deal that would impose all new mandates on American businesses and American families.
Thank you.
Joe Biden wants us to
Thank you, Vice
retrofit
President.
4 million
Thank you, Vice
American
President.
business buildings. It makes no sense. It will cost jobs. President Trump
Thank you,
said,
Vice
"Put
President.
America first.
I'm just gonna
we're
write
put
in
jobs
Jesus.
first, and we're going to take
When
care of
everybody
our
write in Jesus
environment
gets
and
out of
follow the
here.
science."
But,
Thank
on the issue of
Thank you,
jobs,
Vice
Senator Harris.
let's talk about that. The vice president earlier referred to, as part of what he thinks is an accomplishment, the president's trade war with China. You lost that trade war. You lost it. What ended up happening is because of a so-called trade war with China, America lost 300,000 manufacturing jobs. Farmers have experienced bankruptcy because of it. We are in a manufacturing recession because of it.
Where the heck
when
is
we
she getting
look
all
at
this from?
Where this administration has
That's new to
been.
me.
And how
there
is
are
that related
estimates
to
that
China?
By the end of the term
Carbon
of this
emission in the
administration,
US have
they
been
will
steady
have
declining
lost
since
more
2018.
jobs than almost any other presidential administration.
So
the
you're
American
saying
people
Trump's
know
been
what I'm
better for
talking
the
about. You know-
environment than
I think
than
about
Obama.
20-year-olds. We
Carbon
have a
emissions.
20-year-old, 20-something-year-old.
I don't know
Coming out
how,
of high
but
school and college right
I don't
now,
know if
and
that's
you're
related. I don't
wondering,
know.
is there gonna be a job there for me? We're looking at people who are trying to figure out how they're gonna pay rent by the end of the month.
Seems like
Almost
she's getting a
half
lot
of
more
American
speaking time.
renters are worried
She is
about whether they're
talking
gonna be able to pay rent.
No, and
by
it's
the
not
end
even
of the
that.
month.
I see what these both campaigns did, because this is what I would have done if I was Pence's campaign manager for this debate. I would have. It seemed like that's what they did. I would have said, "Hey, let her talk. You're going up against two women. The worst thing you can do is be talking over her and the moderator. It's going to look bad. Trump's done did it. Let them vent. Let them talk, because, and all she has to do, all the Democrats have to do, really, they didn't even need, I would have told her that, because
no, go ahead.
no, because really all the Democrats had to do, because I think after last debate, it because of all the talking over, people was deterred and kind of turned off by it. So she didn't. I don't think they wanted to stir the pot. Democrats is like, as long as we don't stir the pot, we're still up ahead or whatnot. So, and Pence, he just got to, I think he's handling it well. He's handling it well. He's allowing her to eat at the time, like I said, and putting them up, having the moderator a woman too. And she's, it's tough. Like, yeah, I'm okay with it. I think he's doing a good job. He's letting it. He's being a gentleman. He's seen as a gentleman. He's don't have to answer anything. He has not answered anything. It's only been him. And so it's pretty funny in a way, controlling this. But yeah. What do you say? No. Yeah.
Well, we got to wrap this up.
Oh, yeah?
Got to go.
Yeah.
So,
oh, okay.
So appreciate y'all. I don't know. We could do a part 2 on this.
Yeah.
Saturday, finish it off or something. I mean, I don't have anything planned for Saturday morning's podcast. So
yeah,
we could finish this off. They're still not talking about anything, though. They're just really bashing each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's it. It's more like Kamala's bashing Trump, and then Pence is just defending.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like Kamala's on the offensive, Pence. Well, I mean, and it's because they're feeding her subjects that are, puts the Democrats on the offensive against Trump. So, they're basically putting her on offense, and which immediately puts him. I think Pence has done a really good job being put in the subjects that have been brought up. Now, I don't know, they are tying things to the economy and stuff because, I guarantee there wouldn't be no talk of the economy if COVID hadn't happened. I just really think that they're, this is, it is what it is. But I think he's done a really good job. Yeah. Considering, I don't think she's done that bad. Considering, I don't think she's. I think she's just not well. Pence is much more of a politician. Do you know what I mean? So is Biden. Trump, not so much, but Trump is just Trump. You know what I mean? That's all you can say about him. But she's not so much of a politician either. And I think she's done really well with her answers and dodging questions politically. Not quite as good as him, but she hasn't done bad.
The preparation for her, it just doesn't seem like it was there.
But I just, I don't like the fact that, she tries to use her skin color like she's, she's trying to use black privilege. Tell me she's not. Tell me she's not. Tell me she's not trying to do that. Like first person of color to do this. Yeah. First person of color to incarcerate thousands of other people of color for possessing a plant in the state of California and for life. I mean, she was a big supporter of 3 strikes you're out. You know what I mean? So, you get caught with possessing a dime bag of weed 3 times and you're in prison for life. Yeah. For life. And that disproportionately affected minorities and people of color more than anybody else. So, I mean, it's like Spike said, he's not going to challenge her on that one. They're not going to get into those kind of details. You know what I mean? But I don't think that it's actually been a much more civil debate than
it has. That's one thing. That's one thing. There's a little bit more on.
We can revisit. I didn't think we were going to have enough time. I didn't realize it was an hour and a half long.
That's really long, though.
We got on here with an hour and a half. That would have been like we would have watched it, and not had any commentary on it.
Yeah, we would have.
We might have got finished with it, but
okay.
I don't even really have time to go over a scripture with you. I do have one though. So, all right. If y'all like us to continue this, just let us know in the comments or send me or Evolve a tweet. He is Evolve YT. And I am Dave Libertarian on Twitter. So hit us up if you want us to continue. Maybe we'll work something out or something. Try to do something. So
the next one is the 15th.
The next presidential.
Yeah, with Donald Trump.
This is the only vice presidential. That's why I'd really like to go through it, but I also would really like to go through it and hear what Spike has to say about these things also. So what I was going to do was I was going to let it play here, and then I was going to listen in on Spike's on my phone. And then when Spike said something good, then I could jump back over here and share it with people. That's like really, and it would drag this thing out to 2 or 3 hours, kind of like the presidential debate would have been.
Right. Okay.
But I got to go pick up some munchkins.
As always,
And we got to do karate. So, yeah. So let me know what you think in the comments, people. If we need to revisit this one, seems like it's going all right. Sorry, can't see you. Let me go ahead and,
boom.
Why am I still sharing the screen?
This is where the economy.
Stop. Where's my thing? So, appreciate y'all. Love your neighbor. God bless you.
Yeah.
KIP.
Thanks for coming in. Hey, and thank you.
Keep it positive.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's hear it for the audience here.
Yeah.
With their masks on and everything. I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I was just like staring. Yeah, but you were blocking her view the whole time. Right here.
You should have
She's
said
like right there.
You should have said so. Sorry.
Yeah. And we got Chewbacca back here. Chewbacca. Thank you to Chewbacca. And don't forget. Let's get a big hand for Dulop Nelson.
You're down there.
Dulop
You didn't
Nelson.
even say it. You're down there. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Have a good one. KIP. Keep it positive. She didn't say, hey, you need to send me a picture of your theater. We'll put it as a background.